Hi everyone, welcome back. In this tutorial, we will see some of the advanced Articulate Storyline 2 features. In the previous tutorial, what we have already practiced is the default functionality of Storyline. However, sometimes you might have a requirement which is not fulfilled by just using the default features. You might need to customize your course as per your requirements. Storyline gives you the option to do that by using layers, triggers, variables, and states. In this tutorial, let's look at some of the features of Storyline, and then in the subsequent tutorials, we will see how you can use a combination of all this to customize your course as per your requirements. So let's get started. Let's start with the first feature, which is layers. As you can see the screenshot of slide layers, which is available on the lower right hand side of this Articulate Storyline 2 screen. Now the screen that we are looking at is called the base layer. This is the main layer which will launch when the slide is launched. Now you have the option to create new layers, like this is new layer 1, new layer 2. So if you want to go from the base layer to some layers, you can keep creating layers and then you can show that layer or hide that layer based on your requirement. So this is really helpful if you are creating some interactive page in the base layer and then you want the learner to go to the sub layers as we have done in the previous tutorial. So this is a very good feature of Articulate Storyline. The next feature is triggers. Triggers are the action that should happen when you click a button or you do something. So if you look at the top right hand side of the Articulate screen, you have the trigger option, and by default you already have the next and the previous button. And if you just double click that, you can have some action on the slide that you want, when that action should happen and on what object that action should happen. So this is really another good feature of Storyline. If you put a button and if you want to put some triggers on it to make something happen, to show something, to hide something, you can always use it. Another good feature is state. If you look on the lower left hand side, you have something called as states. Currently you don't see any state because you don't have a button or anything where the state applies. So let's go ahead and insert a button. Okay, the moment I insert a button, I can see that there are different button states which are built up here. You have normal, hover, down, visited, disabled. You can edit state, you can delete the state that you want, you can add some more state, and this is really helpful if you have some button interactivity which you want the colors to change or have a tick mark appear when the pop-up is visited. So you can use different states. You can keep this disabled and make it enable after some time. So this is really helpful to play around with. And then the last is variables. Now variables are the place where the information is stored. And the good thing about variable is that if you create a variable, it is visible throughout the course. To create a variable, look on the top right hand side, you have manage project variable. You can just click on it and you will see that a window appears. You can click this plus button to create a new variable. Now as we see, there could be three types of variable. It could be true and false, text, or numbers. So most of the time you would be playing around with true and false variable. You can keep a variable name, say you can say timeline. Okay, you can give it a name as timeline and it can be a true and false variable, and the default value can be false, and when the timeline reaches the end you can make it true. So every variable needs a trigger to change the value and a trigger for the action that should happen once the value is changed. So we will have a lot of practical examples where we would be using all these advanced features. Hope you find this interesting. Just play around with it, see how you can set different layers, then how you can have different variables and trigger settings, and then different states. So thanks for watching and keep practicing. Bye bye.